Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Bogardus from Nursing 5200, Pathophysiology for Advanced Practice Nursing. I am just welcoming you to week 5 of the course that runs through from February 9th through the 16th. And this week's topic is respiratory pathophysiology. So as usual, you'll go to your weekly page to read through the week's learning objectives and assignments. You have some resources underneath that to use, and then your assignments and activities. So you'll be doing another VoiceThread discussion. So you've most likely already gone into the Google document to claim a question. And this is going to be, as the other ones have been, you'll answer a prompt in 2 different case studies for your initial post, and then you'll respond or you'll answer make a response, excuse me, to 2 classmates. As usual, I have the assignment instructions for the VoiceThread and the grading rubric, but as you know, when you go into the VoiceThread discussion, you will see the instructions there, and then you'll be able to see each case study to make your audio or video post. Make sure that your links that you provide in the written comment on the same slide as your audio video post will take me to the full text article for your scholarly sources that you are verbally citing in your VoiceThread discussion posts. And that's the important thing too, is make sure you are verbally citing the sources that you are using at a minimum, the textbook and a scholarly source to get maximum points. The more sources you use, the better. So you can use also your professional experience in addition to the textbook and scholarly articles. You're already going to have another compare and contrast assignment. This one, you choose the disease that you want to compare to another one. So I would suggest using the disease that you think you're going to focus on in your pathophysiology paper for this week 5 compare and contrast assignment. So use that disease and then look at resources that provide a differential diagnosis list, a list of diseases that are commonly that mimic or that are often have to be ruled out when exploring a person with the disease that you're focusing on. And so you'll pick one of those diseases in the differential list as the comparator. Make sure that you review the feedback that I just now gave. I believe I gave it yesterday about your first compare and contrast table. The main feedback I would say would be to make sure that you're citing within the table using APA 7th edition formatting. So each piece of information or pieces of information in the table that you are attributing that to a particular source, and that you are also including a separate references page, and that you're formatting the references page correctly, including how the heading of the references page should be formatted and how each reference entry should be formatted. Make sure that the links that you provide to the DOI number or URL, depending on the type of source, will take me directly to that source so that I can read the source in its entirety. We'll just take a quick look at the compare and contrast instructions just to make sure it's all clear. So as it says in the instructions, use the course textbook, other course resources, for example, articles provided in As You Learn, and scholarly articles to find information on the physiological responses or diseases you compare and contrast. Cite all sources used and develop full reference entries for each source on a separate references page. Use 7th edition, APA 7th edition manual formatting for citations and reference entries. It's not in the grading rubric, but make sure that your references, your sources have been published within the last 5 to 7 years, if possible. If you have to do something within 10 years because there's no other source that really meets the needs of the assignment, then there may be some room there for that sort of a reference. Um, when you do select a disease to compare with another disease for this week 5 compare and contrast table, make sure that you are not only noting cellular, genetic, environmental causes and actors, and physiological, pathophysiological process details, but also that you are highlighting signs and symptoms, complications, and treatments. So that would be more relevant to diseases. Make sure that you're at least providing two similarities between the diseases that you compare and two differences clearly and thoroughly. And more points will be earned for additional similarities and differences being noted. You all did a really great job of putting the compare and contrast table information in plain language, your own words, very brief. Sometimes brevity leads to a little bit of loss of clarity, so just make sure that you do have enough clarity in the bullet point you provide that the reader can understand what you mean fully. So here's the information about the resources that you should at a minimum use and cite. The course textbook and one peer review article. And like I said, it says here, I guess it does say in the last 7 years. Also make sure that you provide a link to the full text of the article or the website if you use a credible website reference. That it takes me directly to that full text article. If it takes me to just the abstract, I'm left to wonder, did you actually go into the full article and read it, or did you simply read the abstract and use that? So um, make sure that you look in the full text article to find the correct DOI and that you provide that in the reference entry. I think that's everything about the compare and contrast table. Um, I, um, overall, I think you all did a wonderful job with your voice threads on the hematologic case studies, as well as the compare and contrast tables. So thanks for all of your effort and hard work. Um, I will work on grading your voice threads for the cardiovascular case studies, which are due this morning. And you were only required to do 2 posts for that one since we had a sort of a late start. Okay, I hope you have a great week, and please send me emails if you have any questions or continue to post questions in the Ask the Instructor forum, which is at the top of the course. I really appreciate those of you who are asking lots of questions for clarification, especially when you ask in the Ask the Instructor as you're helping your classmates. So it's a great way to build a learning community. All right, have a great week, and I will touch base next week with another announcement. And we won't have any group office hours this week, but we will the following week, and I'll let you know in that next announcement. I'll remind you which evening it is and the time and everything. But you can certainly reach out to me with questions by email, or if you want to do office hours over the phone or on Zoom individually, please just reach out and we can schedule that. All right, take care.